internet search engine wants to become a major player in the wireless world, and it's setting its sights on former Canadian tech giant Nortel. Google is bidding $900 million to scoop up all of Nortel's patents, some 6,000 of them. Nortel has been trying to sell off assets since it began seeking bankruptcy protection in 2009. At one time, Nortel was one of the world's most advanced developers of telecom equipment. Joining me now from Hamilton, Ontario to discuss this is Nick Bontis. He's the Director of Undergraduate Programs at McMaster University, and he's an expert on the telecommunications and internet industries. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Good evening, Marcia.
So please begin by explaining what exactly is Google buying here?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say this is actually a sad day for Canadians, because what we're actually giving up is the last remaining asset of Nortel, one of the biggest corporations in Canadian history. 6,000 patents and patent applications. The initial bid of $900 million is just the start. This is actually going to be worth much more than that. But we also know that patents are not all created equal. Some are worth more than others. The most important issue here, Marcia, is 4G. That's where the technology is going. Very, very intense data networking. You can think of, high-definition video right from your cell phone, and people are very, very interested in these sorts of assets, especially Google. That's why they're starting off the auction process.
So how valuable are these patents?
Well, they're actually quite valuable. Some analysts and insiders believe that the auction could actually go up to upwards of $1.5 or $1.6 billion. Now, there are two things we know about auctions. Number one, the price always goes much higher than we expect. And number two, there's such a thing called the winner's curse, meaning the person or the company that actually wins the auction is the loser, because the second highest bidded price was the actual market value before they came into the marketplace. So I think Google's going to start it, but a whole bunch of others are going to jump in.
Who do you think may end up with it?
Well, I don't know. RIM was definitely, I think, going to be part of the process, and so is Apple. And then I think there's going to be a dark horse, too, and that's going to be Nokia. Nokia just partnered up with Microsoft, and they're actually want to now dominate the game because Google's pushing their Android smartphone around the world, and nobody wants to see them dominate the smartphone market as well.
So if the price goes above $1 billion, or whatever price, I guess,
right,
who gets the money in this deal?
Well, interestingly, the creditors that are left over are going to get the proceeds. Obviously, we know they're going through liquidation and bankruptcy proceedings, so there are creditors like the banks and perhaps some of the original shareholders. But the other thing we mustn't forget, there's another side to this coin, and that is that theoretically, we know the smartphone business market is in its infancy. There are 6.5 billion people that live in the world. Only maybe 1.5 billion have smartphones. 5 billion people don't have one still and could potentially get one. So even though RIM or Google or Apple or Nokia or Microsoft could win, I think they're going to generate more than enough revenue to overcompensate for that $1.5 billion investment.
How could it change Google if they end up winning?
Well, one of the things that we do know about the smartphone marketplace is we already have what's called super penetration. Pretty much most people that are near a cell phone tower have a smartphone. Like I said, about 1.5 billion people around the world. Think of the 5 billion people in less developed countries in Africa, Southeast Asia. A lot of them don't even have bank accounts. So where Google is going is they want to actually offer the Android very, very cheaply to the developing nations, and perhaps they can actually use the smartphone as their bank account. And therefore, now they are entering the global financial market as well. So that's where Google wants to go.
Fascinating to watch. Nick Bontis, say hi to my friends at Mac for me. Thanks so much for being with us.
Take care.
Good night now.